Here's our week 5 update. On Monday morning, we left the North Myrtle Beach Harbor Gate Marina.
In the background by the marina, there's that swing bridge, which was pretty cool in that every time it would open, it put out this loud beeping noise.
Dinging noise. Luckily, it didn't open much in the middle of the night, or I didn't notice. But during the day, it was obnoxious and loud, and it was kind of crazy to think we were just really close to that. But
that was interesting.
Anyway, that was kind of funny. So we motored up through the whole river, through North Myrtle Beach, the whole town.
Which you did. That was one trip that was actually a lot of traffic. You didn't really ask me any questions.
No, I'm doing better with the driving.
She's got it. She's figuring out the right of way. And
I'm getting much better at that. I took us all the way up to the inlet, and then I definitely handed it over, and he took us out into the ocean. So we spent that whole day sailing and motoring. We went all the way to Cape Fear. We crossed from South Carolina into North Carolina. This was our official next state that we entered.
So when we left, it was pretty calm. We sailed for probably a couple hours, could still see where we left from. But it was actually a nice sail because it was calm, but we weren't going very fast. I did end up turning the engine on to get around some boat that was fishing, and that motivated you to want to...
Oh, that was a good thing, because we saw some sparkling thing in the water once he turned the engine on, and we were kind of just looking out at the water, and I saw something, and we were able to flip the boat around because we were now motoring and go see kind of closer to what it was, and realized it was a Mylar balloon. So of
obviously
course,
always a Mylar balloon.
Spring into action and get the boat hook and have to practice our man overboard drills. I stay pointing at it the entire time, and you steer us right to it.
Yeah, it works.
And we hooked it, and we cleaned the ocean a teeny bit, so it's my contribution to cleaning the ocean.
But actually, the wind picked up. We were able to sail a really nice sail all day. It picked up more and more as the day went on. Coming into Cape Fear, it was blowing pretty hard, but it's a really nice entrance, easy. What was odd about it was where we ended up anchoring. Kind of felt like we were in the middle of...
just the river, the channel.
Yeah, way out in the middle of it. It didn't feel like a good anchorage.
There was a ferry to whatever that other town was, over to Bald's Head Island.
Bald Head Island.
Because the island that we were near had no cars on it. We looked like we were right in the path of lots of places, but we weren't. We were way out,
and it actually is marked as...
Anchorage. It was. Yeah.
But it's a little rough. I don't think most people would stay there very long, but we ended up staying.
Yeah. So the next morning, Tuesday morning, we took the dinghy in just to explore a little, to check the town out and see what was there, if we were going to want to go back or if we were going to stay longer. You did have a meeting in the afternoon, so we knew we were only going in for kind of a short little visit.
A few hours.
So we dinghied in and we tied it up on shore, and it seemed pretty secure knowing that we were only going to walk around for a little bit. So we explored the marina, we walked around, we got over to the lighthouse and realized that's like the tip of this island, and there's just so much more to see.
Well, we went down a couple streets. It's sort of like walking through Disney World because everywhere is pristine. We did kind of joke because they all had this sign that said no, but we realized later there's like a flip side of it that says yes. Right, we don't know what that's for.
It's a definite vacation place and a summer place, and it wasn't super happening yet. So maybe a lot of people aren't back yet, so they don't need trash pickup. They don't need. So it says no, but there is a lot of no. Every sign, no parking, no walking here, no doing this.
We called it the town of no.
Yeah, it was a pretty little town, but
very pretty, but a little too pretty, I think.
So from where we dinghied and by the beach to walk into where the harbor is, we thought, okay, that's the whole town. Little did we know there's just so much more beaches and really pretty spots to explore. So we definitely wanted to go back. So we knew we were going to go back the next day. So we just took the dinghy back out to the boat.
To the terrible anchorage, and we stayed another night. We
And then when we went back in the next day, we were serious because we knew we were going to do a long day of exploring. So we were ready to do the dinghy and not having to worry about the changing tides, because they do change a lot. We see the water line a lot further up, and we're like, we can't worry about this.
It's crazy. Coming from Florida, the tides here are insane. They
change by 4 or 5 feet sometimes.
Well, way more than that. It's more like 7 feet sometimes.
Crazy.
It's like
so we pretty much deconstructed the entire dinghy. John took the battery out, and then he took the motor off, and he moved all that up first, and then he drug the dinghy up, and he put all the stuff back in, and we tied it. There was this log.
It didn't take that long, though.
No, it didn't.
No.
There was this log kind of dug into the sand. We pushed on it. It was very secure. So that's where we tied the dinghy to. So we brought it around the side, did all of the deconstructing, reconstructing, tied it up, and felt good about being able to go explore.
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have relaxed.
No. So we went into town, got a golf cart, because there's of course, no cars, which is interesting that when we were watching out in the water, we saw the boats go by, the big ferries that have the moving trucks, repair guy, the cabinet guy, the electrician, that all these trucks are on this cargo ferry, I guess, coming onto the island, and you watch them all go off and do their thing. Those are the only vehicles other than all the golf carts anywhere on the island, which was kind of interesting. So we took the golf cart and we went all over exploring. I wanted to stand on the little point. I was very determined to do this, and we made it happen. I walked down to the beach, played up on the sand, and had some fun with that. But we walked specifically to down at the point of Cape Fear, where we were able to take some pictures. We could look at the water on two sides, and that was fun. I liked it.
It actually would be a good spot to go to learn to drive,
yes,
because it's all golf carts, low speed, but it's real roads, real road signs. It'd be a good learning spot for someone to learn to drive.
So we did a whole day-ish. I mean, we did it maybe till about 2 or 3, and then we made it back to the dinghy, which was exactly where we left it. And we didn't have to take it all apart to drag it down in the sand, because the water had
came
come
up
to
it.
A
yeah,
lot. So
it was right there.
Nice.
So
we just untied, got in, went out to the boat, and then we actually decided we went on a short motor that night and moved the boat up the river a little bit further so that we'd be closer to going out somewhere after that. We didn't want to come back out Cape Fear, so we went up in the intercoastal. Beautiful evening. It was just good weather. It was fun. You were playing some fun songs.
Yeah.
I was motoring, and we motored for about 2 hours into this cute little cove or town. We went through some really kind of cool...
Beach, right?
Yeah, before we got there, though, there was some rocky walls and people were fishing, and it was higher banks. It definitely felt like for real.
It did not feel in Florida. We were not in Florida anymore.
It was just very, very interesting. Going under one of the bridges and real shallow, and then we got to Carolina Beach. We realized as we were going in, trying to find an anchorage, that there was a mooring field, and so in that moment...
Yeah, we're coming in
prepared.
ready to anchor. A mooring field has these floats. They have a line tied to a really secure, hopefully, anchorage. You tie up to them. Instead of dropping your anchor, you grab a ball and you tie up to it. We've never done it.
At the last second, we saw a sign that said mooring field, and we saw where we could have anchored was a little more crowded.
Yeah, it was not.
And so we said, okay, are we doing it right now?
Yeah, so we're like, So I'm going forward with a line ready to do it, and this lady
on her boat
was laughing at me because she thinks I'm fumbling around, which I probably was, getting it ready.
And I steered us in right to, was able to coast right in, and you hooked it, tied it, put it in reverse a little, and put it in neutral. And the woman actually said, wow, that's not your first time doing
that. And I said, no, it's our first time.
So she and her husband literally applauded us. We were like, thank you very much.
It was great.
It was pretty good. We haven't done it since, so our streak is perfect.
Yes,
we are amazing at the mooring. Amazing at hooking the mooring ball. You're able to be closer to other boats because you're not swinging as wide since you don't have as much chain out. Everyone's hooked with the same amount of space from the mooring ball to your boat. So you are closer to people. We talked to them for a few minutes. That was kind of fun to just have that opportunity. And with the mooring field, there comes a dinghy dock. So the next morning we got up and we thought, let's go explore the town a little. I found a Publix online, still in North Carolina,
which
still
was only,
able to go
a mile
to
and a half away?
I think it was less than a mile and a half.
It's weird because you have to walk around the harbor to get to it and come down. So if we could have gone right across, it would have been pretty close, but there was nowhere to go.
So we dinghied in, and John's looking at the map, said, there's no Publix over here. It's on the other side of the river. I said, yeah, but we could walk down this little thing. Yeah. So we walked to the end, and lo and behold, there's a city dock down there.
And they're really doing a nice job. That's going to be
really pretty in Carolina
really
Beach.
Nice.
We talked to some guys, and they said, yeah, you could put your dinghy right here, which would have been a lot closer to Publix. So we're like, all right. So we walked back where we were the first walk and got in the dinghy and moved the dinghy down to the edge of the water and then walked the trip to Publix.
So it was only like a half a mile or maybe.
It would have been the same amount of walking, except for we walked only half of it with a lot of groceries because we did get a little carried away.
Oh my gosh, we went to Publix and you think, oh well, we'll carry it home. We just need to. It was so heavy.
We both had heavy bags. You had 2 heavy bags holding.
Yeah.
I luckily had a frozen pizza right along the side of the bag, so it was right on my back because it was warmer that day and we hadn't been used to walking in the warmer weather. So I felt a little bit refreshed, but it was still hot. So we made it to the dinghy and we were supposed to leave by 11, but we managed to get off the mooring ball by 11:30.
Yeah.
And I think it was
luckily, because that guy came by to check on us.
We stayed in the Intercoastal to get to Wrightsville, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we had to motor up.
Carolina
Remember,
Beach, we didn't turn back on
we
that
actually
pretty
did
rocks.
ground that day. Right in the middle of the channel was
construction or
it was dredging. And I didn't know which side to go on, so I just started going this one direction, and we hit ground. It wasn't on the chart, but I guess the dredging created some issue, or maybe that's why they're dredging. We were able to get off, but then to get through, I'm like, I don't even know what to do from here. So we just went really close to the
dredging thing.
Yeah, and it worked.
It
worked fine. And I think that was the only drama.
You were worried about how deep it was, but pretty uneventful.
Yeah.
And then we got into Wrightsville, which is just right near where we could come out in the inlet the next morning. So we went in, and boy, that was a happening little inlet. There's a little town, I guess. We never got off the boat, went to the town, because we got in kind of late. We just had dinner and hung out there on the water. I saw a paddleboard lesson. I saw someone just on her own, just practicing in her little, like a sunfish, practicing sailing and flipping around and trying
She was tacking crazy, just practicing tacking
over and
quick.
over, just flipping around. And then you saw
there was a regatta going on.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So it definitely
the activity.
felt like the weather has turned. People are outside having a really good time. So that was a neat anchorage, just even the night.
Oh yeah, very
just
nice.
Sitting there relaxing. So now we're on Friday morning. We got up really early because we knew we had a long sail day.
So this was a long sail. We knew we had to really put the hours in because there's really nowhere to go in earlier to really get up to the Outer Banks entrance. We had to do this long trek. We were going out, and it was glassy out. Glassy water.
It was
but even
calm.
Still, the waves were pretty big in that inlet. So I would probably not ever take that inlet if it was rough.
That was called Mason Borough.
Yeah, Mason Borough.
So we went out and we sailed and motored. Sailed a lot, I think.
We had to keep our time up because we wanted to get in.
Later in the afternoon, you did turn the motor on, and we motored a good part because we had to get in before dark because we knew it was going to be a long day. And I was watching on the maps on the side, and I noticed that we passed Camp Lejeune, and I was like, "Oh, don't drink the water."
Well, actually, Camp Lejeune, they have this area I cut through it, and I kind of wonder if maybe I wasn't supposed to. It didn't say restricted; it said dangerous. And there was some kind of naval ship in front of us, and I thought, oh no, because we were cutting the corner, but nothing happened. So.
Nothing happened.
When we got into Moorhead Inlet, I was coming in, and we were getting pretty close to where I thought we should go in, and all of a sudden I see rocks in front of us, and I was like, ah! So I start cutting, thinking it's the jetties or something that I didn't notice on the chart, but it's just my bad eyesight. It was
right,
really...
because when I looked, it was hoses for dredging. It was a big, long, but it was long. It was a big section of ground. But we were watching all these fishing boats coming in, so we knew we were at the inlet.
Yeah.
But suddenly you thought we had to go a lot further east to get around and get in. But,
well, I was nervous because some of those inlets have rocks and they don't
but
really show
we were able to
that.
scooch right around the dredging.
Yeah. So that was the only, at the last second I was,
And then when we anchored that night off Moorhead,
we went into the terrible anchorage. It's this interesting thing because there's a no-wake zone that we're going through, and it's very calm. Right after the no-wake zone is an anchorage. And we thought, oh, this is a nice spot. It was. We were coming in the evening, and it was very calm. All the boats going by were going slow, and then they would speed up after the no-wake zone.
Right.
We find out the next morning
at 5.
Yeah, 4:30 or 5.
All the fishing boats were going out is they're zooming from their marinas out, and then they have to do a full stop, basically, to the no-wake zone. Well, we're on this end of the full stop, and so the way...
Oh my gosh.
Woke us up at
we
5.
went to bed without putting anything away because it was so calm. We didn't put the coffee pot down or the things were flying around.
It woke us up at 5. It was crazy, but not too crazy because we did spend 2 nights there, but we were prepared for it the second day.
We're such Clintons.
We sleep through it for the most part.
Are we staying here?
Yeah.
All right. I did have to work.
And we knew it was going to rain.
Yeah, it was rainy, so...
When we woke up the next morning after anchoring in the crazy anchorage, we decided to go into town on Saturday for lunch because you had worked all morning, and we thought, oh, let's go check the town out and have a little break. And we got to walk around Moorhead a little.
We went to some marine stores.
Oil filter, right? That's
which we didn't find.
We didn't find it, but the guy was super helpful, and he was trying to cross-reference in these books and telling us some other stores to go. And he told us where we should go to eat pizza.
Yeah.
So we went to this place and we got to sit on the second floor outside. And the nice thing is, right over us, they were doing the end of a fishing tournament. And so we got to watch a lot of boats come in and the weigh in. They were weighing all the fish. So that was kind of fun. We were up and felt like we were part of all the excitement. So then we went back out and watched the Kentucky Derby because that was on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon.
We didn't win though.
No, you got third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used the 20-sided dice to decide
choose
my...
your guy. Yeah. Mine came in like 7th or something. I don't remember. And then we woke up the next day and you worked because it rained.
Right.
Oh, the beautiful thing is at this point when people were coming in.
Oh, it's so rainy. Yeah.
Nobody went out at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So the second morning that we woke up was not as stressful.
Only the diehards went out.
And it was not nearly as rocky. And we were very prepared. I think we kind of went to bed early and thought we're going to wake up and we'll just take a nap because it's rainy anyway. So Sunday you worked. We relaxed. I watched the Magic lose, unfortunately, Game 7, so they didn't get to go on in the playoffs. We cooked some big taco feast for Cinco de Mayo, and we ate early.
Yeah, obviously we got up early.
We worked early, we ate early. We kind of wanted to see Beaufort as well, which is near, in the same inlet sort of as Moorhead City. So we decided let's move the boat tonight, and that way we can go in the morning. So we actually, after dinner, we pulled up the anchor and we moved over. It only took like an hour. And we kind of went in front of where the marinas are, and unfortunately there was no room at the end.
No room at the end.
So we came back out a little bit and anchored in a little section. There was one or two boats over there.
It actually wasn't bad. We were thinking it was going to be the same thing,
with the rocking and the crazy.
It didn't.
No,
it
it worked out to be a fine place to anchor. So we anchored there, and we're looking forward to exploring the town tomorrow morning. That's the end of week 5. We had a good week. See ya.